Sheriff Todd Baxter, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley. My name is Chris Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, and I'm demanding public information from you that you continue to refuse to provide to me. And I'm using the instrument called the Freedom of Information Law. The document I demand the most is a list with the salaries for every public employee at the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office. This is a simple document to comply with. You print out the name of every public employee at the sheriff's office. You print out the name of every public employee at the district attorney's office. You put the salary next to the name, and you either email it to me, cchichester@JUO4 or to my home address here in Penfield, which is listed on the documentation in this PDF that's attached. Now, I understand why your public employees at the district attorney's office and sheriff's office select their careers, because it's the careers with the most psychopaths. So you understand why you have your employees at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. Freedom of Information Law. The name and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Every FOIL has a request for information. I am the requester. My email, my address, as I previously stated, February 26, 2020. What's not to understand, Todd Baxter? This includes salary for Monroe County Sheriff Office employee James Bond. Do you recognize your employee, Sheriff Baxter? He does two things on the job as a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee. He murders people and he has sex. Freedom of Information Law. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. What's not to understand, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley? What's not to understand, Perry Douglas? What's not to understand, Kyle Steinbach? This includes Assistant District Attorney Catherine Trammell. Do you recognize your employee at the District Attorney's Office at 47 South Fitchie Street in Rochester, New York? You need to tell Assistant District Attorney Catherine Trammell to never uncross her legs at the office, because that could be distracting. And you need to tell Assistant District Attorney Catherine Trammell to leave her ice pick home. And you need to tell your Assistant District Attorneys not to dress up as Catherine Trammell. Freedom of Information Law. Total cost of overtime, a time and a half, or hour pay beyond the base salaries calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. What's not to understand, Todd Baxter? You have your standard 40-hour work week. And then that 41st hour and beyond, do you pay your employees a different wage or rate or salary? How do you do that at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office when your employees begin to work beyond the 40-hour week? Because every single public employee is paid with taxpayer dollars. And guess what, Todd Baxter? There are people that like to gouge taxpayers in the abuse of overtime. So, do you have public employees gouging people in the abuse of overtime? I have seen lists when I worked in Albany of state government employees. And hypothetically, if someone's making $50,000, I read in the Times Union of Albany, hypothetically, the person's making $50,000, and then with overtime, the person's making six figures, more than $100,000. How does that happen in state government? When a bureaucrat at the Department of Health is making $50,000, but his real salary is $100,000 more because he's using overtime. Are you doing that at the sheriff's office? What's the answer, Todd Baxter? How do you pay your public employees when they work beyond a 40-hour work week? And you will refuse to answer because you're accountable to no one. You do whatever the hell you want. And speaking of doing whatever the hell she wants, is Sandra Doorley. And by the way, Todd, this includes, I demand to know, if Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Norman Bates is abusing overtime. Is your employee and his mommy issues Norman Bates abusing overtime, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Now, Madam District Attorney, same question. Freedom of Information Law. Total cost of overtime, a time and a half, or hour pay beyond a base salary is calculated to Monroe County District Attorney's Office. How do you do that? How is the calculation performed? If the answer is no one makes a salary or a wage beyond the salary or wage that they paid for the standing hour work week, that's the answer. So what is the answer? Sandra Doorley, comply with the law. This includes, Madam District Attorney, if you have your assistant district attorneys in the abuse of overtime, and does this include Alex DeLarge and his buddies, Georgie Dim and Peter? Are Alex DeLarge, Georgie Dim, and Peter your assistant district attorneys at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office abusing overtime, especially when they're in downtown Rochester in their long white underwear? So what the hell is going on at your Monroe County District Attorney's Office? And you need to tell your assistant district attorneys to wear the standard business suit at the office, stop prancing around in Rochester in their long white underwear like a bunch of whack jobs. Freedom of Information Law. The cost of taxpayers of Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits fail to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Based on my experience with your repulsive, criminal, nauseating organization, Todd Baxter, are your male employees sexually harassing your female employees? Are your male employees asking your female employees out on a date? And the answer over and over and over is no, and that female's under siege with no. Are your male employees touching female employees inappropriately? Are your male employees using profane, vulgar, vile language at the office? Are your male employees engaging in any of the number of 500,000 different ways that sexual harassment manifests itself? What's the answer to that question, Todd Baxter? Have you used taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related job discrimination lawsuits for failure to comply with Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act? This includes Monroe County Sheriff employee Charles Manson and his swastika tattoo right here. Is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Charles Manson sexually harassing female employees? What's the answer, Sheriff Baxter? Yes or no? Freedom of Information Law. Cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley's expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This includes Monroe County Assistant District Attorney Patrick Bateman. What's the answer to that question? This is your employee, Sandra Doorley, Assistant District Attorney Patrick Bateman. And he has some emotional self-control issues here, and you need to tell him not to play any Huey Lewis and News songs at the office, especially Hip to Be Square. And here he is again, Madam District Attorney, just so you can identify him in the appropriate way. Assistant District Attorney Patrick Bateman. And he's got his 1989 cell phone right here. So you should be able to identify your employee right here, Patrick Bateman, with his 1989 cell phone. Freedom of Information Law. The cost of a surveillance device purchased from taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter and fixed to a building at 2025 Pemthrough Road to monitor Christopher Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. What's that, Todd Baxter? What's that right there? What would you call that? What would you call it? You know what to call it. Just you bought it. You installed it. It's from me. I go outside, tell this toothless grass-cutting loser from Broccoli Tree and Lawn Care that they're here cutting grass on land that has no ownership. Should not be on land you don't own and can't prove you own, Layla Kumar and Nehra Shah. If there's nobody on that land for 5 years, what do you think I'm going to conclude? And no one owns that land. I come outside, you six fanatics descended on me for being outside for 30 seconds. So when you took me to your Monroe County Jail, my little guy, my dog I adopted from Lollipop Farm Humane Society was still in my house. I don't know if the door was locked and the door could be blown open. I'm at your jail and your public employee, Todd Baxter, showed me the video of me being outside on his phone. You bought a camera for one New Yorker, and that one New Yorker is me. You bought a camera for one innocent man, that one innocent man is me. You bought a surveillance device for one innocent American, and that innocent American is me. Cost to taxpayers, photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter, photo of 10 public employees underwater in a pool. Here are your Monroe County Sheriff Office employee, Sheriff Baxter, because this picture was taken on your Facebook page. Did you expend taxpayer dollars for this, or is it a private event? And are you down here, Todd? Are you in one of these wetsuits, Todd, baby? Are you suited up? Huh? That's what I want to know. Because if you, Todd, baby, are down here with your public employees, then that's confirmation that you know this event occurred for sure. So are you underwater in a pool? How is the underwater crime in Monroe County is what I want to know. How many arrests did you make underwater in 2019, Sheriff Todd Baxter? What type of training do you provide your employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to confront underwater crime every day in Monroe County? Now, Sheriff Baxter, one employee in particular that was underwater there, I'd like to know, because I've seen him on Penfield Road. I've seen this Monroe County Sheriff Office employee on Penfield Road right near your Wegmans Food Market's headquarters where you always have one of your vehicles. And I want to know if this Monroe County Sheriff Office employee is always in his vehicle next to Wegmans Food Markets at 57 Penfield Road, was also underwater in the pool. This is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Jason Voorhees. Was Jason Voorhees one of your Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater in a pool? And if you need the ability to recognize Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Jason Voorhees, it's very easy for you to recognize your employee. I do not know the salary for Sheriff Todd Baxter because he's wearing a hockey goalie mask. Do you understand me, Sheriff Baxter? That's how you recognize Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Jason Voorhees with this hockey mask. Because you gave him this hockey mask, Todd the fascist dude. Freedom of information law. The cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher attended the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 with his canine dog, Lola. This is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Ryan Fisher out of Rochester, out of Monroe County, out of New York State, 1,000 miles away, standing in front of a Mercedes-Benz Stadium before the Super Bowl in 2019 with his canine dog, Lola. This is a heroism that is only equaled by the heroism that is displayed by our soldiers in combat. Ryan Fisher in front of Mercedes-Benz Stadium with his canine dog, Lola. I mean, what he's facing here in Atlanta, Georgia, before the Super Bowl, standing in front of a football stadium, is exactly what our soldiers in the Army face in Afghanistan and in Iraq. And he was placing himself at great risk, Ryan Fisher, being down in front of Mercedes-Benz stadium with his canine dog Lola, just like an airborne ranger would in Afghanistan. Freedom of Information Law. What are the physical training standards or requirements at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? The question answers itself. You have easily 50% of your Monroe County Sheriff Office employees that are overweight, and not overweight by 5 or 10 pounds. You have employee after employee after employee on the job, 20 plus pounds overweight. I've seen them up close. As an innocent man deposited in your jail, my rights are abridged, and I never heard Miranda. I've seen them up close when I walk by them at Wegmans. I've seen them at races that I've run when they're bizarrely there for a race. Like a 5K I ran at MCC, they were standing right next to me. 4 of them were at the gym that I've showed a previous photograph. They're standing around. I'm standing right next to them because I took a picture of them. And they're overweight. The ones I took a photograph that are in the photograph are overweight. What are you doing, Todd Baxter? So, in the Army, any of the men and women that have been in the Army will experience the physical training test, or PT test. You have to do a certain amount of push-ups, a certain amount of sit-ups, and a 2-mile run in a certain time. Well, you're flagged. And if you're flagged, you're effectively a non-soldier. You can't get promoted. You can't get an award. You can't travel. You can't do anything. So what are the physical training standards at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? I already know the answer. You have none. Freedom of Information Law. The date Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter hired Monroe County Sheriff employee Michael Radler. What's the date? Michael Radler was a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee for 20 years, and then he retired. He was in retirement. He was a private citizen. It was Michael Radler, the private citizen, Michael Radler, retiree. And then you, Todd Baxter, rehired Michael Radler at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and Michael Radler receives 2 paychecks, and Michael Radler's a double dipper. And how do you tolerate this type of sleaze and corruption? And it's easy to answer that question. How do you tolerate sleaze and corruption? Because you, Todd Baxter, are the embodiment of sleaze and corruption. Freedom of Information Law. The names and charges of every inmate at Monroe County Jail from January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2018. The name, the charge. It is a public facility. People are deposited, transported to your jail from a public event in a courtroom. Who was at your jail? Do I have the right to know the names of the individuals and the charge that are at your jail, as it's a public facility? The answer to that question is yes. The answer from you, Todd Baxter, is no. For District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? What is the name of the prosecutor, Perry Duckles? What is the name of the prosecutor, Kyle Steinbach? What is the name of the prosecutor, Ann Chase? What is her name? Send me the documentation for my case in Penfield Town Court before the 70-year-old pedophile protection racket for Daniel DeLaus III, because he knows Daniel DeLaus II that calls himself John P. Lomenzo Jr. What's her name? Because she didn't say one word. She stood in Penfield Town Court in total silence. I'm standing at this little podium, and I'm looking at this 70-year-old disgusting hack, John P. Lomenzo Jr. I look over at the prosecutor, make an argument. Go make an argument against me. And if this argument does begin, I will interrupt it when it's factually inaccurate, because I'm not guilty of any crime. I'm an innocent man. I have never committed a crime. I look over at her. Go ahead and talk. Go ahead. Go ahead and talk. Make it 1984. She didn't say one word. How am I transferred to Monroe County Jail when I haven't committed a crime and the prosecutor does not utter one syllable in court? How does that happen in the United States of America to an innocent man? What's the answer to that question? Perry Duckles and Kyle Steinbach and Ann Chase, does it even matter to you? Do you care? When you were in law school, you studied the abridgment of the civil and constitutional rights of innocent Americans by the police. And it is a nauseating history. But it was history. And now you're on the job. And it's happened to me by these fanatical cops. If what happened to me happened to one of your family members, Kyle Steinbach, what would you think? If what happened to me happened to one of your family members, Perry Duckles, what would you think? If what happened to me happened to one of your family members, Ann Chase, what would you think? I have never committed a crime. And they descended on me twice. And I've detailed that over and over and over in the YouTube videos that are attached. What is her name? Perry, Kyle, and Ann. And I'll tell you how you can identify the employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office or Monroe County District Attorney's Office. How to spot a sociopathic liar. That's how you do it. And we have researchers reveal the song most liked by psychopaths. Now, this is going to be a song most liked by employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Can you guess the song researchers reveal the song most liked by psychopaths? Because you listen to it at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office. It's Lose Yourself by Eminem, baby. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, there's vomit on his sweater already, mom's spaghetti. You know the lyrics for it. I have to go back. So you know the lyrics to that song. That's the song most liked by psychopaths. Are you playing Lose Yourself right now? 130 South Plymouth Avenue, 47 South Feature Street. I bet you got the speakers on. You know, Dolby Stereo, whatever the technology is today, and all four corners and everything. Lose Yourself playing. Isn't that right? And now, since you're at the sheriff's office, and the district attorney's office, you're proud of yourself for your career achievements. And I'm going to tell you how you got where you were, where you are at the sheriff's office and district attorney. So it's the Sociopaths Guide to Getting Ahead. So this includes use alternative facts, engineer office conflict, seize power, feign your character, sabotage your enemies, and inflict pressure. Tips for the Dark Art of Manipulation by P.T. Elliott. You got this book on your bookshelves in the office and at the house, don't you? So, and here we have 10 signs you're dating a narcissistic sociopath. Now, dating includes you married members of the sheriff's office and you married members of the district attorney's office. So you cheat on your wives, and these are the tips, and then, of course, you single members. And it's a love bombing. Love bombing is when you're faking love to the person that you're with. And it's just this phony affection, phony tenderness. I know you want to sing tenderness right now, but pay attention to mocking and ridiculing you, and that's a great song. So anyway, disappearing act, that's when you're supposed to be around, boom, you're gone. You don't come back for 24 hours. That's because you're cheating on whoever you're with. And there's rapid commitment. That's like when you meet someone and 30 minutes later you want to move in with them. You're already making plans to get shacked up. It's rapid commitment. And then we have hot and cold, mean and sweet. That's when, you're really nice and everything's okay. And then you're suddenly a whack job. And gaslighting and crazy making. I'm sure you know all about gaslighting and crazy making at the district attorney's office. And then there's punishments, isolating, sacrifice, sarcasm, and complexity. So this is, how you do it there at the sheriff's office and Monroe County's office. Now, for you female Monroe County sheriff's office employees and you female district attorneys, I have a book here that I know you have on your bookshelves. This is Women Who Love Psychopaths. Okay, now this includes the men you're having sex with, your coworkers at the district attorney's office and the sheriff's office. And this is by Sandra L. Brown and Jennifer R. Young. I'm going to say that. I'm going to read the subtitle, the book's subtitle again. So when you're having sex, you female employees at the sheriff's office, district attorney's office, with your fellow coworkers, just remember that Chris Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, recommended this book here. Sandra L. Brown, Jennifer R. Young, Women Who Love Psychopaths, Inside the Relationships of Inevitable Harm with Psychopaths, Sociopaths, and Narcissists. Psychopaths, Sociopaths, and Narcissists. That's you at Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office. All right. Now, finally, I'm greatly concerned about the behavior of one assistant district attorney because he hijacked an aircraft carrier. And this is going to be bad news. This is Assistant District Attorney Stranix. And you need to tell Assistant District Attorney Stranix that hijacking an aircraft carrier is not the way to go because Casey Ryback is going to take his head and smash it into a console, and that's going to be the end of Assistant District Attorney Stranix. And I'm concerned about Monroe County Sheriff Office employee. That's Robin Banks with his surfer gang. This is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Bodie. And Bodie fits right in at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office because what he likes to do is wear a skeleton costume and go into a bank and rob it. And then he goes surfing with his surfing buddy. So you need to tell Sheriff Baxter, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Bodie, stop robbing banks. You heard that from me, Chris Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, New York. So, attached is Freedom of Information Law. Send to my home address, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, or my email, cchichesterjul4 at gmail.com. A list of salaries for every public employee at your revolting Monroe County District Attorney's Office and Monroe County Sheriff's Office.